now. Let me show you some spectacular images from a NOAA high-resolution polar orbiting satellite image. Look at this. This is 1998 vegetation last year. Look at the urban centers, Washington, Baltimore, up towards Philadelphia. Here's Richmond. And all the green area here is a lot of vegetation because we had some decent amount of rain. This year, take a look at the vegetation now. This is all from NOAA spacecraft orbiting, getting all the dryness, and you can see it. Now with computers, we can subtract last year from this year, and we can highlight all the areas that are so dry and under tremendous drought situations. You can see it extends all the way down to the south and west. The power of satellites, very, very important for us. I want to show you something interesting, too. Remember the eclipse that we had on Wednesday? Well, we didn't have it out in Europe. This is the way it looks from the European meteorological satellite. Look at this. The shadow of the moon coming across from the European, all across Europe. It was very, very interesting. Meanwhile, they had a lot of cloud cover in England.
For that, we go up to Bob Ryan in Storm Center 4. What's the word, Bob?
Doreen, it is continuing to slowly drift to the west, get closer to where Steve is. And believe it or not, that was low tide down there at Nag's Head. This was a picture earlier today from the NOAA 12 polar orbiting picture. You can see the cluster of thunderstorms around the old center of Dennis, even the shadows as the sun was just rising. And that bands continue to come.
For the latest on that, let's go upstairs to Bob Ryan. Bob, what's up?
Jim, it is still there. This was a dramatic picture from the polar orbiting satellite this afternoon. You can still see the circulation, and also look at the more rain bands coming in.
Bob Ryan has the word on that, Bob.
Well, it may cooperate for folks that are still looking at dry wells, and there's still, because we've got Dennis. Here it is. This is from a satellite called CWIPS that gives you an oblique view. There is the circulation center. Here we are in Washington. Believe it or not, it is coming back. Just like an unwelcome guest.
Clay Anderson is in Storm Center 4. It's beautiful out there tonight, Clay, but I understand there's something wicked down south.
Yes, what we have right now, Wendy, is a good old-fashioned Category 4 hurricane. We're going to tell you about winds up to 140 miles per hour.
This has been the tropics. There are the twin eyes. Not only Floyd, but way out on the ocean, Gert, which has now gained 125-mile-an-hour winds. Gert, on its current track, looks like it will be missing the islands and may curve out, but not Floyd. Floyd, 140 miles an hour. Right now, it is continuing to move to the northwest, but the folks in the east coast of Florida are relaxing just a little bit because every indication is that the eye wall, the heart of the storm, will stay off the Florida coast, but still under the gun, points to the north. One factor is the ocean temperature. That really determines the ultimate strength, the maximum strength. Here's the Gulf Stream. This is from a NOAA satellite that measures sea surface temperatures. There's where Floyd is now. If it moves right into the Gulf Stream over the next 24 hours, it could get even a bit stronger. Looks like it'll probably be staying a bit off of that. Here's the very, very latest track. Here's a great view. This is from the folks over in Sterling. This is the OrbiView satellite from Orb Image, and you can see, I mentioned this earlier, look at along the coast. This is a true color image, and you can see how the ocean has been stirred up from the Floyd. Let me take you down to North Carolina because it is some of the worst flooding ever. Got a great picture to show you. This is from folks at Orb Image. This is OrbiView 2 polar satellite. Look at along the coastline there. See the difference in color? This is a true color visible satellite, and you can see the path of Floyd right up the east coast, how much it stirred up the ocean. And this is all turbidity changes right along the coast, and some of this dark area is also runoff, New Jersey and Delaware. So you can see the impact of Floyd not only on us and not only on the land areas, but even on the ocean. But it's all gone.
1,350 miles away because of the swells generated by Gert. Here's a spectacular image from the folks at NOAA, from the polar orbiting NOAA 15 spacecraft, just some high-resolution images. Look at all the thunderstorms around that eye. We'll put this one on WeatherNet 4 for you. Meanwhile,
now let's go back and let me show you something interesting because you can see the real difference that the rainfall has made, and there's the amount of rain you've seen. This is from the NOAA polar orbiting satellite. It's what's called a vegetation index. It's a composite, if you will, of some near visible imagery and also some near infrared imagery and some imagery in the red part of the spectrum to show where the drought areas were. This was the vegetation index in August. Look at around us how brown it was. Now, after all of that rain, look at how green it was. So it really made a difference. Look at the temperature. Look at the Four Winds neighborhood storm station and look at.
Bob, are those what you call horsetails up in the sky?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah, mare's tails, clouds up there, those high, thin cirrus clouds. Temperature up there is about 40 below zero, so Don't complain about a chilly night tonight. I'm over at WeatherNet 4 to take you to this feature I showed earlier, and I'll show it again, the great images that we get from our friends at NOAA, the polar images, which show you the vegetation. That's today's weather feature, and also declares the drought over after all of the wonderful, wonderful rain that we've had. And you can see changes in our vegetation from space. There was the image from back in August. You can see all of that brown around us, and now it's all green. So that's a way that we can keep track of the water resources, among other natural resources, from space and from polar orbiting images, too. A lot of extra information. You can check out a lot of stuff. Next 7 days for us, a lot of sunshine and
also, some interesting satellite pictures to show you. This is the Landsat 7 satellite. Folks at NASA have this satellite up and orbiting. This is the Pamlico River on a normal day in North Carolina. Take a look at the flooding that occurred because Hurricane Floyd. 10 days later, there's still major flooding going on in parts of North Carolina, and you can see that from satellite imagery. Here's the Pamlico River coming out here, and look at all the turbulence and the dirty water coming out and going right out into the Gulf Stream. This is an orbital OrbView 2 satellite from OrbImage. Some spectacular clarity there. Tropics, that's what caused all the flooding.